Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Seduce Me Too. We are now starting off with Erik since we failed horribly with James and got the horrible ending, which is great, you know. I gotta at least have one horrible ending in a visual novel game. Anyway, a sweet lullaby one you would hear as you were rocked in your mother's arms as a child. I could not help but adore such melodies with every ounce of my being, smiling whenever one would play for me. It was only fitting that I would enjoy my dreams with the sound of one playing in my head. My slumber was calm and peaceful as the sweet tune echoed in the abyss of my subconscious. I didn't know why, but I relished that tune that night. Strange, really, how melody could calm any storm running through your heart. My storm was my engagement to Erik, my demon soulmate. Yes, he was my soulmate, my prince. At the same time, he was indeed a demon. I adored him with every ounce of my being, and I was about to be married to him in the weeks ahead. I couldn't have been more nervous and excited about the whole ordeal. Still, the lullaby that floated in my dreams kept me calm and at peace. I wondered if the same music could soothe an actual child. Creepy! A child's laughter broke me from my peace, causing me to slowly open my eyes and awaken from my slumber. My eyes focused on the ceiling as I tried to figure out what that sound was. Was it part of my dream? It was effective enough to wake me up. I rose from the bed, looking around the room in confusion. Why had I heard a child's laugh, and how did it wake me up? It was strange to say the very least a child's voice. However, before I could contemplate about it further, a slight tip in the bed to my side made me gasp softly in surprise. I looked to my side to see Erik still sound asleep beside me. He looked so peaceful and happy, like he was absorbed in a joyful dream of his own. I couldn't help but smile at the sight before leaning down and kissing his forehead. He shifted slightly, mumbling my name. There we go. I giggled softly. He was just too adorable for words. I truly loved him with all of my heart. Oh, okay. I didn't expect myself to say I love you when he's asleep. Yeah, whatever. Still, despite wanting to stay in bed a little longer with the man of my dreams, the child's laughter ushered me to slowly creep out of bed and leave the room to find where it had come from. What idiot does this? I wouldn't do that. If I heard a child laughing in real life, when I heard it in my dream, I would wake Tyler's ass up. Like, Tyler, wake the fuck up. I heard something creepy. I want to go and find it out myself. Turning on the lights in the lobby, I looked around the main part of the mansion to find out where the laughter had come from. No. No. I heard the laughter trail off as if the voice itself was moving and guiding me to where it wanted me to go. I maintained pursuit, not wanting to lose track of it. Any normal person would have been creeped out. I, however, was brave enough to figure out what was going on by myself. See, I'm not that brave. I wouldn't do that. I was led to my grandfather's office. It was his place of work, as well as his sanctuary for his magic study. I knew that he studied magic and had come to accept it during my time with Erik and his brothers. Still, it was something I was curious about. The lights were on, but the laughter seemed to have faded away as I entered the room. Was I not in the right place? As I stepped further into the room, I felt a sense of nostalgia. Despite only ever finding the room after my grandfather's passing, something about this place made me feel warm and happy, like I belonged here. Oh. Alright. And I'm trying to reply real quick to my brother, because, like, we hardly text. So unprofessional, I'm sorry. Okay, this was where my grandfather imagined his greatest toys and made them come to life. It was here when he studied endlessly about the demon world and the demon magic. I felt like I was stepping into a museum of history. Thinking about it, I began to wonder what my grandfather would think if he knew I was going to marry one of his incubi he had brought into the human world. I knew he had been the one to do it. Damon confessed to me when Erik proposed. It was a bit interesting to think about how he would have reacted. Would he be proud? Would he be disappointed? I could never know. I was broken out of my thoughts, however, as I heard the click of a lock unlatching echo through the room. I turned my head toward the sound, pinning the origin of it on one of the nearby drawers. Why did it unlock on its own? I was a little nervous as to why it had done that. Open it or leave it alone. She says she was brave, so open it. I was indeed my grandfather's granddaughter. I felt my curiosity take control of my body and guide me to the drawer. Sliding it open, I saw 2 books neatly placed in a drawer, covered with a thin layer of dust. One was obviously my grandfather's magic book, and the other must have been his journal. I lifted both up and examined them, gingerly wiping the dust off of them. I wanted to read a bit more about each of them, but I wasn't sure which one to open first. The magic book or grandfather's journal? We're gonna open grandfather's journal. I decided to look at the grandfather's journal. Maybe he had something he wanted to show me. I wasn't entirely sure why I was doing this in the first place. I don't know either, but I'm going with it because you said you're brave. Otherwise, I would be like, nope, I'm staying in my room. I opened his journal and scanned my eyes across each page I flipped through. He had so many notes. It was hard to fathom him knowing so much about everything he wrote. He was smart, though, so it wasn't entirely surprising. One section, however, made me stop and read in depth. Demon children. On the page was a badly drawn sketch of a humanoid creature I had assumed was a demon. From the size, it could have been a child. However, I wasn't entirely sure. Apparently, there are multiple demon races, not just incubi and succubi. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different demon types, and each had their own methods on how they bred to produce children. Okay. Demons of Lilith were the most human-like in terms of pregnancy. They bear the child for a set amount of time, and the delivery, paired with magic, was seamless and painless. However, as soon as the demon is born, the parents imbue their child's demon name into their souls. It seemed so confusing at first glance, but as I read further, I became more and more intrigued about demons and their children. Demon mothers, regardless of race, had to bear enough energy for both the mother and the child. This, along with a host of other reasons, were why females were the dominant gender in the abyssal planes. However, if a demon bearing a child didn't have enough energy, her child would absorb the last of it and kill off the mother in an attempt to sustain itself. Damn! I swallowed thickly. Was energy that important to demons? How could a child even do that to their mother? They'd die out too. One thing was explicitly mentioned, however. Unlike humans, demons form souls in the womb, making them living beings while still forming their mother's body. They become a sentient, that's a word, I don't know, as soon as they are conceived. It was strange to think about. Demon babies were aware that they were alive before they were born. It was intriguing. Oh, God. The child's laughter reappeared, softly floating through the air and making me turn toward the door. I quickly followed it, leaving the room and returning to the lobby. Is anyone there? 'Cause this is what you do when you're hunting for a laughter. 3 a.m. in the morning. As I turned to the stairs, I could hardly believe my eyes. A floating orb barely the size of my head was floating down the stairs and towards the back doors. I gripped the railing and stared, not believing what I was seeing. Was this really happening? What was it even? A ghost? A spirit? Some illusion meant to trick me. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Still, it practically called for me to tail behind it. I continued to follow it. It seemed to want me to, anyway. Was this a game? Alright, I remember seeing this in the demo. Now it's all coming back. It led me to the backyard, where it simply floated in the air near the gazebo. I stayed by the doorway, unsure of actually stepping out of the house to meet with it. It didn't move, so I could only assume it accepted my hesitation. Hello?
Hi.
Oh, God. The orb gently spun around itself in a circle, almost like a happy child. For some reason, it made me feel really happy seeing it, despite it being a simple floating orb. It seemed friendly enough, so I stepped out into the backyard and slowly made my way towards it. It gently bobbed up and down, and as if it was waiting for me to approach. I stopped a couple feet away from it, not wanting to get too close in case it was a trick. Hi there.
Hi. What's your name?
My name? Oh, it's Michiko. 'Cause I'm talking to an orb, it's cool. It's kind of looking like No Face, and I really don't like No Face from Spirited Away. He just freaks me out.
Wow, that's a pretty name.
Thank you. Who are you?
Oh, I'm no one. I don't have a name.
You don't have a name?
No, I wasn't able to get one. But that's okay. I'll get one soon.
The orb, whatever it was, had to be the spirit of some child. Human? I didn't know. I wasn't sure. All I knew was how sweet and innocent it sounded. The child's voice was pulling at my heartstrings in all the right ways. The orb twirled around again with a small laugh.
Let's play together.
Oh, I mean, what will we play? I almost couldn't believe the words coming out of my mouth. Was I really okay with playing games with a spirit? I mean, it was friendly, yes, but it was a spirit. What I was doing out in the middle of the night with it was another question. I let go of and fade away in my head as I stared at the orb. My heart felt fuzzy and warm enough to ignore the doubt niggling at my brain. The orb dipped and spun around my body, making me giggle and try to swallow it. As it circled back to where it used to be, it almost bounced in the air happily.
Come on, let's dance.
I began to dance around the orb as it moved gracefully around my form. In my head, a song began to play as I had fun weaving and swaying with the orb. I felt light and happy, even though a part of my mind was questioning what I was doing. Why was I doing this? Why was I so accepting of the spirit? My body was moving on its own, but I was enjoying every minute of it. The orb followed along, matching each sway with one of its own. Soft laughter echoed from it once in a while after every couple of steps I took. It seemed to enjoy my company, which in turn somehow made me happy.
Princess?
Oh yay! I get to be called princess! The orb gasped and hid behind me as I stopped dancing. I turned quickly to see Erik standing by the doorframe with a confused but tired look on his face. Erik!
What are you doing out here, love?
I'm dancing with an orb. I blushed, rubbing my hands together behind my back from embarrassment. I must have looked like a fool dancing in the yard in the middle of the night. I turned my head to look at the orb, but gasped in surprise when I realized that it had disappeared.
What's
hello?
wrong?
I was beyond lost and confused. What was happening? What had just happened? I turned back to Erik to see him walking towards me. I crossed my arms, realizing how cold the night air was, and smiled meekly at Erik. I just wanted some fresh air, that's all.
While dancing by yourself?
Yeah? I stared at Erik, not sure what he meant. If he was watching, he would have seen the spirit dancing with me. Tell him? Forget about it. You know what? I did horrible with James. So I'm really kind of depressed because I feel like I'll do the same with Erik. But we're just gonna tell him. Why not? We're gonna marry him, right? You can't lie to people. You didn't see the orb that was dancing with me?
Huh? Orb?
Erik raised an eyebrow, obviously, not understanding what I meant. Did he really not see it? It's true, there was a spirit here that looked like an orb, and I was dancing with it, not by myself. I knew it wasn't making sense. He didn't seem to believe me. Still, I didn't want to lie to him. He was going to be my husband soon, so we had to trust each other. If my reason sounded stupid, fine, but at least it was the truth. Erik finally smiled and reached towards me before petting my head.
Did you have fun then?
Wait, he really did believe me? I wasn't entirely sure if he did, but from the look he gave me, he was willing to accept my answer either way. I don't know, if Tyler told me some crazy shit like that, I'll be like, okay. I wouldn't believe it. But you know what? Maybe it's true. I mean, look at Totoro. That's totally true. Erik gently reached out and took one of my hands, placing his other hand on my waist. I looked up at him to see his lips curve into a small, playful smirk. My voice
Would you
sighed.
mind if I dance with you then, princess?
No, yeah, let's dance. My face turned red at his question, but I smiled and nodded. I liked dancing with him. I tightened my hand over Erik, straightening up and leaning against his chest, ready to dance. You guys, what time is it? You were dancing in the yard at night? Okay. Erik chuckled softly before leading me into a slow but elegant waltz around the backyard. I felt like I needed to thank the spirit later for giving me yet another wonderful memory with Erik. He led me around the backyard as if I were at a real ball. The moon served as a brilliant crystal chandelier and the wind became our music. Eventually, however, we had to go back inside. The night was cold and it was very late. I didn't want the night to end though. Watching Erik as we walked up the stairs to the bedroom, my heart began to flutter even more, and a soft heat began to burn in my core. He was not only charming, but he was handsome and definitely knew what buttons to press to make me feel amazing. It didn't matter that he was an incubus. I really had fallen in love with him and was both romantically and sexually attracted to him. Though did I really want to pursue my desires right now? We did just stop dancing. Go for it. Because I let you do it with everyone else. The burning in my core wasn't just going to go away. As Eric and I approached our room, I quickly pulled his arm and turned him around to face me.
What?
Alright, the sexual music intensifies. Before he could finish his sentence, I jumped up and wrapped my arms and legs around him. Kissing him deeply, instinctively, he circled his arms around me too, to support me. Around me to support me, but he stared in shock at my eagerness. And we're gonna stop it right here. Right? All the sexualness will be in the next episode. Well, I'm really happy we're finally here with Erik because I really adored when he said princess, but at certain points it was way too much when he kept saying princess, but it's alright. Because, you know, I think he's the only one that gives us a pet name and constantly says it, so it's totally fine. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.